Hey folks, welcome here, welcome back to another Pokemon Masters video, and today we're going to go over all the newly announced units from the Datamine and just sort of rank them in terms of how good they are and all that stuff, right? Is there a point to this? Not really, I guess. You could sort of gauge how you want to spend your resources, orbs, gems, I guess, according to this, but again, it's just for fun. So let's go over them, right? So I'm not including the egg Pokemon here because well, first of all, this tier list does not have the egg Pokemon in here yet, but also there's like a billion of them, and there really isn't a point ranking them with these guys because they don't really take they take different resources, right? These guys are gems or orbs, and those are, you know, eggs. So anyways, yeah, let's go over these. So I'm probably gonna rank them from like weakest to like strongest, and like even like the weakest one on this list is still actually like semi decent. I mean, like even the worst one on this list is like, you know, better than most of the egg Pokemon. So anyways, let's do this then. So number 6 on this list is probably gonna be Arbok, and like Arbok just feels like it's missing stuff, right? And the kit is weird. Like it's a unit that like it's mainly gonna be physical, but like its sync move is special, and then its trainer move gives you both physical and special, but then lowers your defenses for that. And for a unit that doesn't have like that great defenses to begin with, right? Let's put it at a 4-star, right? At least like these are not good defenses even for a 4-star. But then again, it's a striker. It's not like the biggest unit in the world, as long, you know, like AoE, you know, AoE moves, as long as they don't crit or they're not super effective, they don't really hurt that much. Sync moves generally don't hurt either. You know, some do, mostly don't. But yeah, like this is just not that great of a trainer move, unfortunately. But overall, it's a solid unit. You got direct hit, right? Unfortunately, it's not direct hit plus, so you can't get max crit, but you can still get a decent amount, right? And you know, if you want to actually run this to do damage, probably would bring support anyways. And like it actually doesn't do like terrible damage. Like even though it's like attack stat is like Ethan levels, right? Which is, you know, actually who has more? Does Arbok have more attacks or special attack, or does Ethan? For some reason I can't remember Ethan's numbers right now. Oh, okay. So you're almost there at 4 stars, right? What about 5 stars? At 5 stars you have more than Ethan. Poor Ethan. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people are gonna raise her to 5 star unless you really like Jessie and Arbok, which, you know, I would assume a lot of people do, right? Very likable character for sure. But yeah, in general, doesn't do too much. Acid is whatever. You're not going to use it that much unless you're not using Arbok as a striker. But like, if you're not using Arbok as a striker, what are you doing? Are you trying to poison the opponent just as that? Because like, you're not gonna. There's better poison units, right? Toxic power is nice, so that's why, like, even though like the attack stat isn't too amazing, you will be doing good damage, right? For the most part, as long as you get it support, all that stuff. So Arbok, I'd probably, yeah, rank it last, unfortunately, in this list. But again, it's not like terrible. It just gets like, you know, replaced easily by a lot of other poison type units, right? Like in terms of poison type units, like even though, you know, Roxy's not free to play, semi free to play. It's a 4-star. It's not like that hard to pull a 4-star, right? But like, yeah, Roxy's better. Survivor's better. At least the Survivor's better. Obviously Salazal's better. And yeah, Crobat's probably better too. Gyarados, I think Arbok's better than Gyarados in terms of damage. But you know, Gyarados is not mainly a damage unit. But anyways, moving on. So in 5th place, we're gonna throw Survivor here. Survivor, again, like I mentioned before, is not bad. A lot of people think she's bad. I don't think she's bad. She's actually the perfect unit for those who can't summon for, you know, for free to play players. Even though she's not free to play, she's semi free to play. Again, 4-star. For semi, you know, free to play unit or players, it's a perfect unit to run alongside Houndoom, because in Houndoom's grid, right, you do need, I don't know what this is, for Houndoom, you need both some kind of like status, or either, you know, flinch, confuse, or trap, right? And then Elusive Viper is one of the rare units in the game that gives you both a trap and a status, right? I think the other one's Delphox, which again, you know, much harder to get. And I think there's one more unit that gives you both. Callum gives you has a chance to give you both. It's like, chances aren't too great though, unfortunately. But yeah, the Lucy, you know, has a better chance in that in that realm, right? So you got both Poison Fang and Wrap. Both Poison Fang and Wrap, like, don't underestimate the DOT that you could get from these, right? This is badly poison, and this is, again, trap damage, which actually does decent damage in this game in comparison to the main series. So, like, both of these added on to a target will, like, give them, like, massive DOT damage, right? Like, even, and especially in Villa, where there isn't too many, like, you know, poison or trap resistances on the opponents, this will rack you up some good damage, right? As for the trainer, a lot of people says you know, are saying this trainer move's bad. This trainer move's not bad. You get both defenses and then gradually heal. Like, gradually heal is, like, one of the, you know, best things you could have on your trainer move, you know, if you're not a striker, right? And Sludge Bomb gives you good damage, and then Toxic Power 3, stationary target 3, that's an extra 60% damage added onto that, right? Which again, you don't have good damage stats, which you're not a, you know, you're a tech unit, you're not a striker. But that extra 6% damage, you could out damage easily a lot of strikers. It's probably one of the best summonable 4-star units in the game, so that's pretty good. Anyways, moving on to the next one. Number 4, I'm actually going to put Crobat here. And the reason why I put Crobat here, even though, like, Crobat is insanely good, is because we're just looking at 2 out of 5, right? Because we don't have 2, you know, we're not getting 2 4-star tech candies yet. We could only get Crobat to 2 out of 5, unfortunately. And, like, again, like I mentioned before the other day, like, Crobat at 3 out of 5 is absolutely just insanity. Mind Game's 9. Bob and Weave is nice. You get Crit Strike. You know, you just get, like, so many good stuff, right? Slippery Sidekicks is nice. I think you also get an extra, Toxic Power there as well. Like, Crobat 3 out of 5 is insanely good. But unfortunately, at 2 out of 5, you just don't have that much. But you do have good enough, you know, nodes that would make Crobat a really nice unit, and probably the best poison unit in the, I wouldn't say the best, because Plumeria is really, really good as well, right? Because Plumeria, like, when you're doing that, you get both flinch and poison. Oh, Plumeria is another unit that you could status and flinch, right? Or whatever. But yeah, Plumeria is really, really good at that as well. But Koga obviously is free to play, so everyone could get that. And, like, yeah, because the reason why I rank it, like, above, like, other poison units is because you have, like, move gauge regen on Poison Fang, right? Which is nice. And then you also got stuff like X-Speed MGR, move like Shadow MGR, which is always nice as well to have. If you want to do some damage, you can do decent damage with Toxic Power 2. Again, you're not going to be doing like more damage than, say, Viper or maybe even Arbok, but you could do good. Definitely not more than Salazar, but you could still do decent damage overall, right? But again, reason why it's not higher is because it's 2 out of 5. Moving on, I'd probably put Driflim in number 3. Reason being, like, Driflim, we just don't know how exactly, you know, good Driflim is because of Phantom Force, right? If it turns out like the fixed time that they mention is actually relatively short, then you know, Driflim could be much better. But if it's like longer, then, you know, that would be an issue. But however, Driflim does output a lot of good damage, right? I got, you know, Power Flux 3 in here. I got Gritty 5. If you like stack Gritty 3 on that, like, it's gonna hit like a truck. However, like, one of the issues is that, sure, you're stacking Gritty, all that stuff, and again, this is a huge damage, but you need to get status, which again is very situational. You know, you can't expect to get status on everything. and also that would also require you to take damage, which again, Driflim has like good HP, right? But it's still not the best idea for your striker to be taking all this damage, right? It's like defenses are kind of potato. It's really like Hilda actually, so that's an issue there as well. But you know, overall, in the right scenarios, the dude could hit like a truck, and also Phantom Forces, you know, depending on how it works, could be really nice too. Like just completely dodging attacks. If you know like a AOE attack is potentially coming up, right? You could just go Phantom Force and not get hit by it. So that's really nice as well. But yeah, so I'd put Driflim down here. Moving on to the top two, we're gonna put Delphox in number 1, obviously, and then Ember over 2. Reason why Delphox is up there, I think I've explained this quite a bit, right? Like, I mean, not only is she the best of this bunch, she's literally competing for the best unit in the whole game. She's just so insanely powerful. Like no other unit like does what she does, right? So well. She has Hypnosis with accuracy buffs, and she has Go Viral 9, which turns the Hypnosis into AoE Hypnosis. That alone would make, you know, Delphox a, you know, contender for the best unit in the game. On top of that, you get an insanely powerful grid. Delphox's grid, like, again, like her grid, you don't really need a lot of her grid for a Hypnosis stuff, but you know, when you pick up all this stuff, you know, good nightmare, all that stuff, HP advantage, stationary target 5, all this stuff, you know, if you want Poke Trap 5 as well, that's, or not 3, that's really nice. Impervious, so your overheat special attack doesn't get lowered. Like Delphox could like hit really high damage numbers. You got Stat Leech 4 as well. I haven't even talked about that. A good chance of lowering opponents' stats and then like leeching them to yourself. And then like you got Good Nightmare 5. That's another extra 50%. So Delphox, if you do the you know, calculations, and someone did, right? At its peak damage per move, out damages Cynthia in Sand, and should do 11% more damage than Blast Burn, Charizard and Sun, which is pretty crazy. So not only are you like just an insane unit, just AoE sleeping the whole team, basically Dark Void with accuracy. Not only do you have that, you also, you know, can potentially deal the highest damage in the game per move. Like Delphox is on another level powerful, right? And that's obviously why, you know, she's at the top here. So that one's pretty straightforward. As for Hilda, the reason why I do think Hilda is probably a bit more useful and worth investing orbs into over Driflim per se is because Hilda is like base Hilda is like potato, right? But again, obviously we're talking about the grid. Gridded Hilda actually does some really good stuff, right? So Gridded Hilda should have probably the hardest hitting sync move in the whole game, over say like Steven, right? I think the previous hardest hitting one is Steven, I think. And you know, you got a few reasons, because you have 4 sync buffs, right? And then you are a non-mega, so your sync move is base 250 already, so you don't need, you know, these extra to make it up. It just adds on to it. And then you got inertia, and then Hilda's like attack is like really high to begin with, right? It's Hilda's base attack 357 is good, and then you got all that stuff. It's just very powerful. Like again, it should be the hardest hitting sync move in the game, or at least close to it, like right. And as for some other stuff, right? If you do want to run, you know, Flare Blitz Hilda, you could do that. I'm not sure if like I'm a huge fan of running that, but again, we'll have to see, right? Because you do have Steadfast 15, which does decrease it a lot. But if you don't want to run that, like you could still again just run the Sync Nuke build, and then like just pick up like a lot of really good stuff. that you could go with, say, your flame charge move. Like, you could just spam flame charge, give you +6 speed, which again helps the whole team, and then with that you get +6 attack as well with yourself without a support, which is nice. And then potion, like, what the heck? She got potion MP refresh and potion master healer 2 for only 10 energy. Obviously, we know how powerful a potion master healer stuff and MJR stuff it can be, right? So like this is obviously very, very powerful. Even if you're not using her as striker, just like as a potion support, she's really good, and she has like good HP as well. So it's not like she's a potato. She's not like glass cannon. As long as you're not flare blitzing yourself, right? So like you could have her at the side on the bill. You probably don't want her to draw aggro. If you have some better defensive unit, you probably want to use that. But she's not a complete liability on defense, I guess. And then again, she just gives you the potions. So like just like that plus like flame charge MGR is just solid stuff for your whole team. Pick up haste so you don't lower your speed, although that's not like a big deal. Revenge boost, maybe. Well, again, I don't think it's that big of a deal. You could also, barricade, shielding strike, raise your defenses so we don't die that easily for like a whole like completely defensive potion user build. So yeah, anyways, well, that's maybe for this one, I guess. Just a random ranking of all the new units. So let me know if you guys want to see this in the future with all the every new update and stuff, because that could be potentially problematic. I mean, this batch of updates is pretty clear which ones are the better units, which one's better or worse. But we could potentially get into some future updates with controversial units, right? And could be problematic, but hey, it's fun, so I'll do it anyways. But anyways, that's maybe for this one. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel for some more Pokemon content. I'll see you guys in the next one.